Welcome, everyone. Satsang at Astrology here with a new video, this time about how to read a lunar return and what is a lunar return. Welcome back if you are already subscribed to my channel. If not, I invite you to subscribe and to keep coming back because I have good stuff to share with you. And welcome for your support and for being here. This time I will share with you an example of a lunar return. This, in this case, is Joe Biden's first month in office. And I will do the lunar return, which means that it is the moment in a month when the moon, the transiting moon, returns to the natal placement. And by doing this kind of reading, you can have a perspective on the whole month for a person. If you like to know your true horoscope for your month, for example, if you are planning on doing something special during a certain month, you can order a reading about that lunar return month. And I read the chart as if it were a natal chart for that month for you. It is based on the natal chart, though, on the birth chart, and it also helps to follow the flow of the solar return. And the solar return is the same thing, is the moment when the sun returns to the natal placement. Usually it's on the day of your birthday. Sometimes is the day before, sometimes is the day after, because astronomy is not always exactly the same, right? But, and you'd be surprised that your birthday is the day before or a few hours later than the time when you were born. In any case, a lunar return chart is very useful to learn how to work with the energies during the period of 1 month, from the time when the moon conjuncts the natal moon until the next time that it does so. So now I will dive into the natal chart just a little bit in order to give a foundation about the natal chart of. So this is the natal chart of Joe Biden. Let's see. And this is the basis of the calculation for the lunar return. So here we see the moon, the natal moon is at 0 degree 59 Taurus. And it is in the 6th house, which is the house of things that need to be repaired, cleaned. It's the house of daily routines, of work, place of work. It's the house of also your health. And it is as well the preparation for relationships, right? So the moon there, especially because it's at 0 degrees 59, almost 1 degree, but is a moon that is initiative, right? It is at the beginning of the sign. So it is brand new in that sign. And we also observe that the natal ascendant is in Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter in Cancer. and we will take a look later. So remember, Jupiter in Cancer at 25 degrees. So it's in the 8th house, the house of transformations. So in this life, he has been faced with very difficult events that have transformed his whole life, right? But in to some degree, it has been for him to develop more wisdom and to learn principles, to also develop a wider vision about family issues, right? Because Jupiter is in Cancer. So his sun is in Scorpio in the 12th house. And all this configuration is very important in the natal, obviously. He has Ceres conjunct the IC, which is the need to be needed, the need for nurturance in the family. Then he has another planet very close to the descendant. It's Uranus, and it provides for sudden unexpected events regarding other people. In his case, it was his family members, right? And then there's no planets in the midheaven. But we will use this chart in order to base our lunar return. So there is much fixed energy, right? So even though he has those powerful transformations, but there is a lot of fixed energy, especially in Scorpio, in Leo, and in Aquarius, even though they're asteroids. So, and of course, the moon in Taurus. So those are the fixed energies. And he has a little bit halfway from the fixed, he has mutable. So there is a level of adaptation, and 2 points for a cardinal, which is radical changes. So the element that is predominant is water. So he has a very profound emotional life, right? He has 4 planets in Scorpio. He has Jupiter and Makemake and Black Moon Lilith in Cancer, and Ceres, the biggest asteroid, in Pisces. So there is a high level of emotionality in his life, which is very transformative, right? He has Cancer in the 8th house. Okay, so that is enough for the overview of the birth chart, upon which the lunar return is based. And before I go to the lunar return chart, I will also share the inaugural, the very moment at 11:48 Eastern Standard Time when he took the oath. I was on the radio, so I was looking at the time. So I know precisely it was at that time when I heard him, between the 48 and 49 minute. During that minute, he was taking the oath. So let me now share then let's see. Inauguration chart. Here it is. So here's the inauguration chart. And first of all, we have a lot of earth and air elements. And what does that mean? It means that this is a very grounded chart with a lot of that grounding energy, but is also a chart of a lot of air, which implies relationships, broadcast of information, right? Communication. So there was a lot of communications, right? And not only that, it was widespread all over the world. Jupiter is in Aquarius, so all over the world, that ceremony was watched, and there is some fire, half of the, but again, we see fixed energy, a lot of Aquarius, a lot of Taurus, and that's it. No, nothing in Scorpio, nothing on Leo. So, but that's enough. Taurus and Aquarius, there's a lot, right? With a stellium in each. Okay, so the ascendant of the inauguration chart, and remember, this chart is the birth chart for the whole 4-year government that he will stay in office, right? So it is giving the flavor of a birth, right? Something that is getting started. And the ascendant or the initiation, it is in Taurus, ruled by Venus in Capricorn. We see, and they are in trine, right? They are both earth signs. And it's talking about resources, material stuff, finances. It's talking about the management of resources, Taurus. Not only that, but also it could be the products, food production, for example. So Taurus also represents values, because it is ruled by Capricorn, by Venus in Capricorn. So this is an inauguration that has a lot to do with values, the values of the country, the values of the government. And the ruler is in Capricorn, as I said, relating those values to the governmental structures and institutions. So initially, as he took the oath, he started his speech talking about how he would focus his work on financial issues, right? And also he talked about the need of people to have a roof over their head, to have enough food, work, to have the essential things that provide for the maintenance of life, which is Taurus. And how the government, right, Venus in Capricorn, would focus the work on those issues in order to develop those areas. So we see from the Head Start, we see the focus on material stuff, on the real life, and on the reality check. He talked about a crisis that is affecting all those areas of the economy. Plus, Venus in Capricorn falls in the second house of the United States of America's chart, birth chart. So it goes very well together with that as well. So, and the midheaven is in Capricorn in the 9th house, which indicates the focus of the public focus on the government, focus on the governmental structures and their workings, and also the 9th house is the justice, the rules, the regulations, the agreement with the Constitution, right? The oath, the presidential oath and the vice presidential oath also focuses on agreeing with the Constitution, right? The basic structures of the country. This also is together with the midheaven is together by 1 degree and a few minutes with Pluto, and showing the development, the display of power through the armed forces that were present to for protection and security, right? Capricorn is security, safety, and Pluto is the armed forces, the police, the soldiers, the troops, and very physical, very tangible. So, and then the sun, 0 degree 51, represents the authority of the head of state, which is the president. So, as you see, it is in a perfect square to Joe Biden's natal moon at 0 degree 59 Taurus. So, or the moon is squaring the sun in the inauguration. So you see this is conflicting with his emotional state of being, natural state of being. Right, moon in Taurus also, it's a very stable moon, very it's a moon that goes with the natural flow of things, and this is a challenge for him. This assumption of authority, it is a challenge for his emotional state of being. Also, it is, the sun is conjunct Saturn, which reflects the age, his maturity, his wisdom, and long time experience, right, in politics. Aquarius is politics, and also his focus and determination for social changes, and in any case for focusing his energy in work that will be of benefit for the collective in general, for everybody, for all parts of society, and especially the common folk, because Aquarius rules the common people, everyone together. And we heard him in his speech talk about how to unite, and he was concerned not only to govern for his party's people, but for everyone, which is the function of a mature Saturn president, the sun in Aquarius. Okay, I think I have enough information for this inaugurational chart. Notice that the moon is also the very end of Aries, there's this urgency to work, right? I heard some astrologers mention about the void, of course, because the moon doesn't make any traditional Ptolemaic aspects at this point before moving into the new sign. I don't see a basis for that because, in fact, the moon is in T square involving Haumea at 2854 in Libra. And Haumea here is talking about the regeneration and the abundance of relationships, and how this moon has this urgency to work on having those relationships bear fruit. And at the same time is squaring Chariklo. Chariklo is an asteroid that the mythology talks about Chariklo being the wife of Chiron, and she has a particular trait of being a healer just by her presence, by the energy of being there, for being present. And if you notice, the sun is tightly conjunct Chariklo, which reflects this feeling that he conveys when he spoke about healing the nation, about uniting, about taking measures to go back to healing the differences and reconciling differences of opinion. He talked about disagreeing without the need of violence or aggression, and disagreeing and establishing a conversation that could end in result in the compromises or polishing those disagreements and coming to this relationship, this abundant and regenerated relationships, Haumea, right? So there is this emotional anxiety almost, because in Aries the moon is very nervous and impulsive. So there is at the end of the sign, it has that urgency to heal the past, to heal relationships, and we see that energy reflected in his discourse when he addressed the nation. So let me now change the chart. Here is the Lunar Return Chart then, to show this period of 1 month from January 20th until the next month in February, and how Joe Biden is dealing with this energy during this month. First impression is that all the energy, the traditional planets and cosmic bodies are above the horizon, right? Showing his public life. Especially and most of all, the energy is on the third quadrant from the 7th to the 9th house. We have the stellium and Aquarius, and so this quadrant is in charge of his actions in relationship with other people, with institutions, etc. And the fourth quadrant is about him being in public, right? The 10th, the 11th, and the 12th house. So we can immediately see how his public life is reflected on this monthly chart. So see, in this way, you can also have your own lunar return read and show how the energies of the month will work. I'm open to do this kind of readings as well as solar returns and natal charts, but I wanted to put some emphasis on the lunar return because this is the real monthly, personal monthly horoscope. Okay, so first of all, we find the ascendant. Here it is in Cancer, right? So it shows someone who cares, who is thinking about the home country, right? Cancer, and wants to provide safety for families. It's almost an emotionally motherly care, right? And you can perceive it when he spoke after taking the oath. He expressed his concern about families and their well-being, having people having a job, a roof over their heads, enough food to provide for their families. So it was reflected on his thinking and his speech. But really, this month, his energy is focused on caring for people and his concern for families and their well-being, and also focusing on the country and how much he cares for the country. So the ruler, the moon, is in Taurus, and it's exalted. Of course, it is here in Taurus in the 11th house at 0 degree 59 minutes. And the 11th house is showing the collective, right? And so how he cares, right, is focusing on the collective, on groups of people and groups with specific material needs. Groups of people that are in need of care, of resources, right? Taurus is resources, and also values, money, right? And all kinds of resources like the production of food, for example, and distribution of food. It's also the concern with the natural resources. So this moon is applying to a conjunction with Uranus and Mars. So it is a very nervous moon. There is a certain level of anxiety and the eagerness to get things done and do things differently, right? With Uranus there. And it shows also the readiness to take action for the collective well-being, material well-being, which he expressed in the speech talking about having new executive orders regarding, for example, rent protection and other things aimed at ensuring that people have what they need to survive, like healthcare and the vaccine campaign and other things. So definitely this moon, this nervous moon, has an emotional impact on the collective, and an influence, an emotional influence. And I heard many people who were moved by his speech and his attitude, his presence. So he is in tune, emotionally in tune with the collective consciousness. This moon is very connected, right? Connected, Uranus, with the society in general, especially the desires and the needs, the material needs of the collective. So we have the midheaven in Pisces, which shows an inspirational public image, right? Creative, idealistic, and a little bit of a dreamer, right? Dreaming of harmony, dreaming of peace, and goodwill, and healing as well, because Pisces is a sign of healing. So it reflects as well his focus on, for example, the campaign for healthcare for all. And it's Neptune, the ruler, is conjunct Ceres almost exactly by a few minutes. And it shows the expansive need to be needed, right? And to have this this need to nurture other people. Ceres is the biggest asteroid, and it is this nurturance goddess, right? Is the nuance of the moon, that takes care of everybody and feeds everybody, and has the need to be needed. So, and also the focus on healing, as I mentioned, but it was also manifested in the public ceremony, right? Because there was poetry, a beautiful poem read by that young woman, and then inspirational music that moved the masses. So, and it was Lady Gaga and J-Lo singing those inspirational and very almost sentimental songs, right? That were very appealing to the masses, the Pisces. So it is also in sextile with Characlo here in Capricorn, the midheaven, which is an opportunity for healing the public image as well. And for having a healing public image, which I felt from emanating from his presence, that presence that was radiating peace and harmony and goodwill and unconditional love, right? Just having this message calling for unity, for understanding, and in mixing together everybody with everybody, like peace Pisces. So peaceful Pisces. So calling for peace, for harmony. So let's now go to the sun. And the sun, which represents his core essence, is here in Aquarius. And it describes him as a maverick. His core essence will be someone who wants innovation, thinks out of the box. It's having ideas and intellectual work that reflects invention, and also with experience, because the sun is conjunct Saturn, which gives maturity, discipline, and also endurance, right? This sun, accompanied by Saturn, talks about someone not only that is aged, but it's also has this wisdom that comes from experience, and from having lived so many challenges in life like he has. So it's also conjunct, the sun is out of sign conjunct Chariklo, which again makes him this healing personality just by showing up with his presence. And it's socially oriented, mediatic, right? He is in the public eye, through internet. The ceremony was seen all over the world, and he will be watched closely during the first months in office, because that will be when he will initiate everything that he has planned to do. And so from all over the world, he will be watched very, very closely. But again, the sun is with this stellium there. We have 5 cosmic bodies in Aquarius in the 8th house, which talks about a very powerful transformational energy that may be through technology, through science. So we know that he is very much founded in facts, in information, in truth, information from scientific sources, and the use of technological interventions, right? So he is at least looking for truthful information with Jupiter there. And we also have Pallas Athene. Pallas Athene is all wisdom, right? Intellectual knowledge and wisdom in order to resolve conflicts in a strategic way. So Pallas Athene was a warrior, but it was not a warrior that wanted violence or the use of force, but the use of the intellect, ideas. She was born from the head of Zeus, so she comes with this intelligence that is able to resolve conflicts without force, if she can avoid it, right? So both Pallas Athene and Jupiter talk about wisdom, moral values in society, Aquarius, right? And strategic moves. So, as I said, to resolve conflicts in society with intellectual abilities. Okay, so now let's talk about the descendant, which will be 18 degrees of Capricorn. And we see that the ascendant and the descendant are not squared in any form by Aries or Libra. But it is, the descendant is conjunct Venus, which is very favorable because he is in good terms with other personalities, right? Capricorn talks about people from the government, right? Or institutions. And so he is in good terms with other political personalities that may oppose him, but it's also the reflection of his Cancer ideals onto those Capricorn people. So it's opposing his care, right, and ideals for the country, for the safety of the country, with this Capricorn uh, love of security, and also the appreciation of the systems of government, like constitution, and the democracy structures, right? And he has the tendency to relate to mature, seasoned people, be politicians or otherwise, and with powerful personalities, because we have this Pluto there. And Pluto is with Chariklo, and Chariklo is sandwiched between Pluto and the Sun. So we are talking about some degree of healing in his relationships. So let's talk about the nodes of the moon. So we have the North Node in the 12th house in Gemini, and this talks about very much focused on spiritual ideals, right? It may sound at times, with the midheaven and Pisces as well, kind of too good to be true, right? And maybe promising more than it's feasible, and very lofty ideals, and very high levels of imagination, and here is a need to find information about those ideals in Gemini, right? So one of the things that is typical of having the North Node above the horizon is that it indicates a period, a month, right? Because this is the lunar return. So this is just for 1 month. That will be easy and happy. And there is a lot of freedom to act, for action, and things go well in general, with good opportunities and open doors to realize his goals, and the purpose that he had determined. He makes good judgment. People help him from behind the scenes, in this case, right? The 12th house. And he might reap the good karma from the past. So having the North Node overhead or above the horizon shows that things go well, even though it may take a long time, right? His natal North Node is in Virgo, overhead at 0 degree, at the top of the chart. And it is already by sign squaring his natal nodal axis. It will be exact July 20th, 2021. And in general, it is active 1 month before and 1 month after. And the square to the nodal axis marks a point of change of direction, and determining a new aim in life, which is already shown by sign, right? Because the nodal axis in transit is squaring by sign his native nodal axis, and is already shown in the fact that he became president. So his purpose in life has changed significantly. So what else about the nodes? The ruler of the north node is Mercury, 19 degrees of Aquarius, and as I said, conjunct Pallas Athene, which makes his thinking about social things, issues, right, and also in a strategic way. But we need to take into consideration that Mercury is already in the pre-shadow because he's turning retrograde at the end of January, and will be back over all those degrees up until 11 degrees of Aquarius. So many of the things that he will be doing, transforming, let's say, during this period from his uh, oath of taking the oath of presidency up until the 29th, 30th of the month, will be reviewed when Mercury is retrograde and adjusted, maybe edited, things that will be corrected or done even better, and reviewed. So there is a lot of connectivity there. He might be in the media a lot, and also making connections, right? Making connections with the media, the sources of information, science, technology, and all that, and thinking, really thinking out of the box, and with the strategies for problem solving. So he considers modern ideas and is very transformational, using invention, technology, and looking for solutions for the future, right? And some of those solutions may be futuristic, and they might be kind of not accepted by everybody because they look too ambitious, right? And maybe he may be very set on his ideas because Aquarius is a fixed sign. But it's a plan, right? Mercury with Pallas Athene as a plan that it operates profound changes. And since the North Node is in the 12th house, his ideas may not be openly shared. So some of the ideas he may keep for himself or share in a certain circle of people. But definitely with the South Node in Sagittarius in the 6th house, he is letting go of decadent beliefs and obsolete problems, and orienting his ideals, right, into spiritual ideals and creativity, ideological creativity, and in general creativity of ideas. And Gemini is also relationships and how to connect, right? How to connect with other people, with the environment, and making new concepts. So other things to consider is the first natal planet to rise. And here, the first natal planet to rise is Jupiter. Jupiter is a benefic. It doesn't appear here because Jupiter in Cancer is in his natal chart. But when Jupiter is the first planet to rise, things go well. Luck is with him, and there is expansion, protection. Beneficiaries appear to help him. There is a general positive attitude, much optimism, enthusiasm, and in the let's see here, Jupiter in the lunar return chart is separating from the square to Uranus, and applying to a square to Mars. So there is an incentive for much optimism, and to take actions, optimistic actions. Okay, so another planet that is significant is the planet that it is facing clockwise, the biggest space, open space in the chart. And if you see, all the planets are gathered in about 120 degrees here, from Venus to Mars. And we're just talking about the traditional planets, because this technique for the cutting planet is it's traditional. So, but it's interesting because Venus as a cutting planet, it shows the way in which the person enters into new experiences. And Venus is a major indicator of individual traits that are very social. It focuses a lot on social activity, artistic endeavors, business endeavors, financial endeavors, and also in material things. Right? He's talked a lot about making a financial decision about to help the economy and people who are in need, right? But at the same time, is Venus is harmony. It looks for balancing with the opposites, right? Venus is always trying to make relationships, and is charming and agreeable, and it's appreciative, and so it promotes soft and gentle relationships, and it's conciliatory. So in fact, it really attracts good things, and reflects the goodwill and gentleness of the personality. Another important planet is the Scout planet, which is the Oriental, sometimes called Oriental planet, because it is the first planet rising before the sun. So it is like the announcer, right? The messenger that says, here the sun comes, here the king is coming, right? And that planet is showing the self-expression, is the indicator of the self-expression of the sun, right? And that planet, if we take the traditional planet, is Venus again, and as the traditional Oriental planet, it attracts people that helps the sun realize what he wants to accomplish, the goals, right? It's very diplomatic, and looks for social harmony, and it's, as I said, very conciliatory, and presents himself as the sun is very soft and gentle and nice and agreeable. So it has the potential to achieve the good relationships that will benefit him in his goals. If we take the modern planet, it's Pluto. And Pluto is also significant if we take it as self-expression, right? Is closer to the sun. It's promotes this. It shows the self-expression that is very deep. That is the perception, the deep perception of the circumstances. It's a sun that is able to cut through anything in the environment and see through, and not only the environment but the circumstances, right? So it's a sun that will be digging underground and discovering undercovered energies and secret maneuvers. So this is a sun with Pluto as the oriental planet that it's it has better ways to achieve the purpose. It's also not expressing openly, right? It's if we consider that other than the separating square to Eris, it is unaspected and by any traditional planets, because this is still an aspect with Eris, the goddess of discord, right? So in the seventh house, it is about relationships, right? In achieving goals in association with other people. Other people may present power, right? Power struggles, and then that will put him into unfamiliar conditions, and then he will have to implement changes. So this is a sun that is prone to have transformations and express in a transformative way, and have circumstances go through transformation. For example, financial problems, financial affairs, or power struggles, and circumstances may push him to change decisions and have profound transformations. Remember that Pluto is a destroyer, destroyer of things that are in decay, that don't serve anymore their purpose, and it's the master of decluttering, right? I compare that to the vultures that devour things that are toxic. So it is, Pluto has an important work by cleansing and dismantling things that are completely useless and they are toxic. So we can count on having Pluto there ahead of the sun, being an agent of purification of stagnant situations, right? The situations that don't work well anymore. So, and the ruler of Pluto in Capricorn is Saturn, which is on the other side of the sun, showing his experience in applying power in order to transform circumstances and situations. So this is what I can read from this chart. Remember, there's fixed 9 points of fixed energy, and it has a lot of earth energy. So it has very much energy in the focus for material things. And we heard him focus his goals into the economy, for example, and the packet that will help the economy. And there is a lot of air, which reflects the amount of communication, connections, and relationships that he is establishing. But the fixed energy is showing that he is very strongly uh, planted on his purposes and his goals. Okay, I hope this has shown you the way we read lunar return and how useful it is to find out the energy for 1 month, right? The same thing we can do reading the solar return, right? Where you have your energies for the upcoming year when you have your birthday. That is the solar return. It may happen one day before, one day after, a few hours after your birthday exact time. But in general, a reading like this can help you to envision the general energies for the year, and the lunar returns every month will help you compare how the flow of the energy goes every month compared to the solar return and the natal chart. So if you are curious to find out either the solar return or the lunar return, don't hesitate to contact me. You can email me requesting your reading, either natal return, natal chart, or solar return, or lunar return. So, and I'll be happy to help you with that. So I hope you enjoyed this analysis and it's useful. It was just an example for you to learn more about this subject. So thank you for watching, and if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel. Bye bye now.